For the vacant IBC Welterweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the purple and gray, and weighing in at 146 1/4 pounds. From the Big Sky Country, Great Falls, Montana, this 1988 U.S. Olympian is now 33-3 as a professional. 29 of his 33 victories by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the former lightweight champion of the world, Todd "Kid" Foster. And his opponent across the ring, wearing the black and silver and weighing in at 146 pounds. In his professional career, he's captured 3 world titles with a record of 48-3, 22 KOs to his credit. Fighting now out of Lewiston, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, the former 3-time world champion, Héctor Macho Camacho.
Gentlemen, you were both given your instructions by the New Jersey Control Board. Protect yourself at all times, touch gloves, wait for the bell.
Todd Foster, a punch stat champion. He throws about 80 to 100 punches per round, and he said he will be making contact with Camacho. He'll be going right at him. Young man has won 33 and lost 3. A lot of championships around here, but Foster was never a world champion. The highest he was ranked was number 8, but he is currently unranked, and he is looking straight across at the man who really can re-energize the career of Todd Foster in Héctor Camacho. Camacho at the age of 32, but he is just finishing, Sean, the busiest year in his career going back to 1985. He had 5 fights in 1994. Usually he's fighting somewhere around 2, maybe 3 times a year. And quite frankly, that was getting him into trouble. He had so much time between fights, he'd get into trouble. Now he's training all the time for all these upcoming fights. And he has really put it together after most people figured it was over. After Chavez, after Trinidad, and the Camacho showing a turn. And here he has a fighter who he feels made to order. Todd Foster just coming in.
Yeah, Todd Foster's going to come right to him, and coming in right to him early in this fight, the 2 banged heads. That's some of the changes that you're talking about Héctor Camacho. He's busy, he's active. It is difficult to beat an active fighter, and he has certainly been that. You know, he's fighting, he's been fighting nobodies recently, but he has been performing in front of a crowd in the ring.
Well, he's been very honest with his comeback.
Yeah.
Honest in the fact that he is training. He is in the ring. He has a sense of purpose both in the ring and out of the ring, but also honest in the fact he says, hey, the last 4 guys that I fought after Trinidad this year, I mean, I was overmatched. And I should have been knocking these guys down. He also feels that he's about 2 levels above the talent of Todd Foster. So Héctor Camacho never pulled any punches, and he's honest about the assessment of himself. And he also knows he has to look sharp, he has to look explosive. And he seems to have added a little power going up to 147 pounds. Quite frankly, he's down now tonight to 146. His last 4 fights have been in the range of 151 and 1 to 153. Not looking like the Macho Man, looking more like the Macho Man in some of those fights. But he's trimmed, he's serious, he's on a pay-per-view fight. If he wins this fight, he looks ahead at the guy who wants is Pernell Whitaker. He says Whitaker stepping up against Julio Cesar Vasquez as a junior middleweight, moving up perhaps just for that one fight. There's no names out there, Camacho feels, in the welterweight division. And now now Camacho putting together some of those speedy combinations. He gets Foster coming in. Oh, again, it's Camacho. And Foster now keeping his distance as the first round comes to an end, and give that one to Hector Camacho.
Oh, yeah, wobbled in that first round. Todd Foster. Off to a good start, Hector Camacho.
Libra from New York City. A big round of applause.
An outstanding trainer giving great directions. There's some of the touching from Hector Camacho, touching from that southpaw stance, and backing up is Todd Foster. Where Todd Foster has had trouble in his career has been when he straightens up and backs right straight up.
Which you saw at the end of the first round. And look at the respect he's now giving to Camacho. He is not on top of Camacho. He's not in range to touch him. Camacho, even when they're in close, has the moves, has the angles.
Yeah, and this is craftiness from Camacho. See inside, Hector tying up, holding on. He said, I'm a better fighter now because I don't want to get in trouble out of the ring. I'm more stable in the ring. I'm skilled and I'm polished.
The last title that Camacho has owned, the WBO Junior Welterweight Championship, beat Boom Boom Mancini, and that was 4 years ago. And if you're not counting WBO titles, you go back to 1986 when he was the WBC lightweight champion, the victory over Jose Ramirez, and a couple of defenses. So Camacho is in and out. Foster trying to find him. And Camacho once again keeping cool with kind of a breezy trunks. And Foster may have struck with the right hand.
Yeah, against the left-handed fighters, those right hands work real well. It's difficult to use your jab because of their right hand, but Todd Foster is using it. There it is from Foster. If he can continue to use that jab, he can score with it. Maybe he can get Hector watching the jab, and then he sneak in a right hand. Oh, the two got to watch their heads. That's what Frank Cappuccino just told him.
Foster, who has a problem with the cuts. He's been down just twice in his career, in 2 fights. But once he was clocked, he was gone. Jimmy Paul knocked him down 2 times, and in a loss to John Larks, he was down 4 times in the fight. But that was his last fight at 135, and he said he just could not make weight anymore, and that was the result.
Yeah, very tough, Todd Foster. Not afraid to get hit and not afraid to hit back.
35 seconds to go in round number 2. He was involved in the bizarre Olympic incident in Seoul. He was fighting the Korean fighter, and there were several rings in the venue. And during the fight, the bell rang from another ring, but Foster's opponent thought it was their bell, so he dropped his guard, and Foster dropped him. And it was ruled that they should fight a rematch, which happened a couple hours later, and then Foster dropped them officially and won the fight. Now there could be some blood from the right eye of Foster.
Yeah, that blood perhaps from that clash of heads earlier in this round. In the first round, too, they banged heads.
TVKO with the presentation from Atlantic City, the convention center. Macho Camacho now center stage. With Vinny Pazienza and Roberto Duran waiting in the wings for the main event.
Looking for somebody to party with. Miss Justin, who wants to party?
Vamos con esa cabeza que está viniendo cabezón. Vamos a trabajar por debajo ahora con ese open box. ¿Está bien? Ahí estamos. Esa pelea es nuestra. Sea como sea, es nuestra, donde sea.
Frank Rodriguez, I think he's showing you what he wants there. He wants more body punches.
Somebody with 4 and 5. Don't get up in the air. Stay low. All right? Who's got the mouthpiece? Stay low. Stay in this chair until the bell rings. Don't get up.
Excellent instructions. Stay low. Remember what I said round before last about Todd Foster getting in trouble when he raises his head up? Jesse Reed sees that. He wants to keep him down. Lower your center of gravity. when you get hit and your head is way up in the air, it really looks bad. It hurts too. When you're down, you can take that shot and come back with another.
Foster has had pretty good success against southpaws and also against boxers. Trying to cut off the ring. He says he doesn't want to chase Camacho. And this is a pretty big ring to Camacho's advantage, which later may serve well for Vinny Pazienza.
A lot of factors about this ring that may serve well for Vinny. Downstairs to the body goes Todd Foster. Good for him, following instructions. You know, with a fighter like Camacho, he is too good to stand out there and try to punch to his head. He's too good. You have to go into this fight with a plan, and that plan's got to be go downstairs. Don't try to hit his head. Go down to the body first. Try to wear down the body.
Come on out. Come on out. Come on out.
Camacho turned pro at the age of 18. 14 years ago, 1980. He's won 3 world championships. He won his first 39 fights before losing the WBO crowd to Greg Haugen. And he lost that fight by 1 point. And in that fight, he was penalized 1 point for not touching gloves at the start of the final round. That was the old, rebellious Camacho.
Right now he's touching gloves with Foster. I think he's touching Foster's face with his gloves.
The records of these two fighters, big numbers up there. Sean, how do you think that this new and improved version of Camacho would have done against Chavez and Trinidad?
Well, when I've seen Camacho in the past against the ordinary fighters, he makes them look like amateurs. When he goes in there against somebody that has the power, that's where he has his problems. In the Trinidad fight and the Julio Cesar Chavez fight, Hector Camacho didn't really win a round. What he must do, I think, at this point in his career, is learn how to win some of the rounds, if not all of the rounds, for some of the bigger fights. There's a good straight left for him. So that's what I see in him now. He is trying to reacquaint himself with these fighters and trying to win some of these rounds, box some of these rounds, adapt, change, show the versatility of Hector Camacho. Good combination from Foster downstairs and then up to the head. And good movement from Hector Camacho with a southpaw fighter. See how he moves? Hector moves to his right. It is a more natural move for a lefty. But Todd Foster, he's got the power in the right hand. He has to keep resetting that back foot. That's the confusion, the last between the rounds, and he did not really do that in the last round. With a fighter like Foster, that's difficult to do because the way Foster is getting down now, you got to reach around for that body.
And Foster coming out, you can sense the air of confidence. Comes off a good third round. And there's Camacho holding on. Frank Cappuccino, the veteran referee, explaining to the two, come on, let's start fighting. Frank doesn't put up any of those hijinks, Joe.
No, Frank Cappuccino, outstanding referee. And a tough referee. I think he's got tough with the crowd a few times in some fights.
He works in close to the fighters, too. He's been nailed.
Oh, yeah. He's been hit, yeah. Oh, yeah. Former boxer, Frank Cappuccino.
Never down for the count.
Yep, he's from that great fraternity, Kappa Cappuccino. Good sweeping left from Hector Camacho.
This is scheduled for 12. Todd Foster has never gone 12 in his career. He's only gone 10 4 times compared to 24 occasions by Camacho. Camacho knows how to spread out a fight and really pace himself. And you can bet that Camacho right now sizing up his opponent. And as he had said earlier, if I could dissect just like this and take him out in around 6 or 7, otherwise he'll take him later in the fight and try to wear Todd Foster down. This is the opportunity. Foster has to strike here. Oh, snapping the shots out. Camacho, just as Foster had gained in confidence, Camacho now moving him back.
Yeah, Hector Camacho said Todd Foster will be perfect for me. He's a banger. He comes right straight in. He's custom made for me. And you know what? In that sense, it's exactly right. Foster now, out of anger, is rushing in just what Héctor Camacho needs. This is where Héctor Camacho can shine. Foster must try to work his way in behind some punches. Now, the last round I talked about how Foster was jabbing with Héctor. He's not been jabbing as much this round, and that could be one of his many problems. The other problem is removing that glove from the front of his face. Slipping a little bit on some tape. There's some tape in the middle of the ring that Foster slipped on. Oh, yeah, this is some of the added power that Héctor Camacho possesses now as a welterweight. That was a little bitty punch. He put his weight behind it. Some of the tricks of the trade.
And that ends the round. And Camacho now has made it 5 for 5. In his last 5 fights, he has put
look at me in the face.
Man on the canvas.
What are you doing? Stop him when you're inside. Let that rip. You hear me? That's why you got drilled. You relaxed and he hit you on the break. Now you get your hands and start punching until that referee says stop. You hear what I'm saying? Quit this nice guy stuff. You can win this damn thing. Get on this guy and start.
Pretty good idea. Wait till the referee says break. There is what happened. He walked in. Jesse Reed said he let down for a moment, and then the left hand, clubbing left hand. Confident Héctor Camacho.
George Foreman versus Michael Moore type.
Right on
shot.
Yeah, while tying up the right hand, Todd Foster got hit with the left hand. Jesse Reed said, you let down. Don't let down in there.
All right, here comes Foster now. No more Mr. Nice Guy. And you see the swelling around the eye. Macho Camacho starting to pile up the points. And you could kind of see the points on Foster's face. And Foster, who was generally pumping around 80 to 100 punches per round, is way below par in this fight.
Oh, there's why.
Being
freezing him.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he gets hit, he freezes. He backs up and he freezes too.
And a very patient Héctor Macho Camacho comes out for this 5th round. He feels right now he has Foster where he wants him. And even his corner that told him just moments ago, no hurry, do what you're doing. You're doing fine.
Not a hectic Camacho.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. Thanks, man.
Well, you keep feeding me these lines and I'll use them and you give me the credit for
good combination. And right now, the man with a good combination. Camacho. Oh, Foster is whacked. Camacho moving in. He senses that this is a window of opportunity. Does he end it here, or does he want more airtime?
Cappuccino should stay close.
Foster holding on. Cappuccino takes a look, separates the two. There is the standing 8 count is in effect in New Jersey. And in this IBC fight, and Foster crumbles to the canvas.
That's all.
And that is it. Héctor Macho Camacho unleashes the power of a welterweight. And he has blasted out Todd Foster, and he looks to the heavens, and he knows there may be some new big paydays ahead.
At this added weight, he says I have more power, having knocked down Pat Lawler in 2 fights ago, Rusty Derwin in his last fight, having been able to put them down, not able to put out Pat Lawler, but tonight he sets up Todd Foster, cracks him with good sharp combination, puts him down, and then takes him out. Here's what happened. Todd Foster rushing in, crack, wobbling around. Todd Foster out on his feet. Héctor Camacho knows it, goes in to close. Patient now at age 32. Héctor Camacho knew he had to settle down, make his punches count. Another look at it. Todd Foster just an opponent custom made for Héctor Macho Camacho. And Camacho took him out.
It was a must-win situation for both of these fighters. Héctor Camacho moves forward, keeps on going. You know, we talked earlier about boxing needs the names in this sport, plus Camacho also showing that he's still very much alive. And he wants Pernell Whitaker. It was also mentioned that should Duran win against Pazienza, that is a possibility if Duran, who's about 167 pounds, comes down to 153, Camacho comes up. Well, frankly, even if Duran loses, I see that as a somewhat of an attractive matchup. And also, Héctor Camacho asking us questions, curious about how did Buddy McGirt look the other night. So there are possible name matchups for Héctor Camacho. As he said, if I come in and I look sharp and I look explosive. And against Todd Foster, he looked sharp and explosive.
Well, he did. Todd Foster, custom made. Todd Foster was there to be hit, walked right straight in and certainly got hit. But tonight, Héctor Camacho showed that he does have the ability to knock fighters out, not only just put them down, but also take them out. And that's what he did with Todd Foster.
All right, let's get the official count. Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Frank Cappuccino calls a halt to the bout. The official time, 1 minute, 45 seconds of round number 5. Winning his 4th world title, he's now the IBC welterweight champion of the world. It's Macho time. Héctor Macho Camacho.
Héctor Macho Camacho plays to the crowd. He'll join us at ringside shortly, but now let's send it up to Bill.
All right, Al, thank you very much. Héctor Camacho winning his 4th world title, the IBC World Welterweight Championship, and near the end of the 4th round, Foster went down with that Camacho short left hand, and then in the 5th round, he begins to pound Todd Foster. There's the left that wobbles the legs of Todd Foster. He still looks game. He looked over several times at the referee as if to say, I'm okay. He's moving me back, but I'm still hanging in there. And there had been questions about Camacho's power after his previous fights over the last year or so. But then in his last 2, he's looked very impressive, knocking out Rusty Derwin several months ago. And tonight, you see that sense of power that Camacho was talking about as he absolutely pounds Todd Foster. And this one wisely stopped in the 5th round. There you see Todd Foster looking over. He did that several times, and that left right there sent Todd Foster to the canvas, and there was no doubt it was all over. Héctor Macho Camacho, the new IBC World Welterweight Champion. Let's go down now to Al and Sean. Al?
All right, thank you, Bill. Héctor, you said you had to look sharp, you had to look explosive. You did just that, but you also said that Todd Foster was a custom-made opponent for you. So how do you judge your performance tonight?
Well, it's just like I expected. He came in, he wasn't shy to throw his punches. He kept trying to bring it to me. But as round weights was going by, I knew I was going to start getting closer and closer to the target. He was a pretty hard puncher. I felt it around the body and wanted to hit, but nothing damaging. I just didn't want to get hit with nothing. I want to stay sharp.
You feel that you finished this one actually sooner than you had anticipated?
Yeah, but you know, I was just taking it as it come. All I know that I had to look very explosive. I was so hyper. There's no way I was going to lose today. No way.
All right, Héctor, we got a monitor right there. Let's take a look at the. This is your first look at the knockout. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, you know, I got him with that same punch, you know, in the fourth round. And I knew it was just mental time for him. We were going to try and pull him out. I knew I was hard punching, so I thought I would knock him out if I took it to him.
Héctor, you had cracked him in the 1st round, but you didn't really knock him out until the 5th. Did you know from that 1st round that you cracked him? Did you know he would go if you put him down?
Yeah, I thought some quick shots to pull him out, but you know, patiently looking sharp. I know the eye is on me. You know, nobody was whispering. Everybody was just looking because it wasn't like I was fighting a Chavez or Trinidad or Whitaker, you know. That's when you see arguments and fights in the stands, you know. But this was just a process.
Part of the patience that has recently happened in your life, right? Seeing in the ring.
It's great because it gives me a title. Already they're going to say, well, this ain't a world title. One title is like any title. I have the name. Now I'm going to start getting ready for Chavez. I won Chavez. I'm going to challenge him at 147 for my title. Okay? Whitaker is there. He has business. He has plans. We'll coast down the pace, you know. Anybody, I'm here. I'm ready to fight.
And what about the possibility of Roberto Duran?
Well, if Duran makes 153, because regardless, Duran is a strong man. You fight him, you want to tell him come down 56. He'll starve himself, but when he put food in his stomach one day before the fight, next fight he's going to be here like a house.
All right, Roberto's just informed us he wants to get in the ring, so we thank you for joining us, and we have to move on. Okay. Camacho win tonight. Let's go back up to Bill. Bill.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, thank you very much, Al. That's the belt that belongs to Vinny Pazienza. His doctors told him he might never walk again.